invite you just to get comfortable and to take a breath and just allow yourself to settle in into this time of the service where we take that holy pause and we turn our attention inward, releasing all of the things that have been on our mind and that we've been carrying maybe as we came in here today. And we just turn within and we focus on the divine, the allness, the infinite, the limitless supply of life, of love, of peace, of joy, of strength, of hope. As we come to the end of 2024, we just take this moment to pause and rest. We turn to the source of all, that source that is above all and beyond all, and that source that is within us and manifest through us. That source that we are one with, and that source that is beyond as well. We rest in that strength, that peace that resonates with every part of our body and life. Peace be still to our hearts and to our minds at this time. We find rest, refreshing, and strength. We hold each one that's not here. Those needs that we know, we hold them in a special high watch of prayer. We hold one another in this space, in this presence, for we are one together, and we look to that source, that presence, that peace, and we hold each other as we are held. And we go into this moment of silence. And I encourage you just to allow the rest, the refreshing, the peace and calm of this present eternal moment to hold you and strengthen you as we go into the silence. And as we return to this sacred service, we say thank you, God, for the peace, for the strength, for the guidance, for the comfort, for the hope, and for the peace that carries us each day and has carried us each day for this year. And we look forward with that same faith, that same hope of that presence for our community, for our families, for our nation, and for our world. And we say, so it is. Amen.
that song just feel good from your toes? I mean, just, oh my goodness, Mike, what are we going to do now? I don't know.
I think we're changing.
Yeah, I think we better change. Yeah, and now Mike's going to sing. Yeah. So I have to say, some of you actually know, some of you don't, because you're newer than when I have been here. But several years ago, I lost my voice entirely. And it was happening over a period of months. It was before the time I was supposed to become licensed as a Unity teacher. I was preparing for my testing and the end of my big skills demonstration and all of those things. And in the weeks coming up to it, I noticed it was scratchy. Then it was, I was having issues coming up with some of the notes. Then I was having issues coming up with talking. And so I went out to Unity Village for my final testing and everything to become a licensed Unity teacher, hanging on to my voice by a thread. And it was one of those things where I was like, okay, well, when I got to do this. How often do we do this? Just as soon as I get done with this, I will address what's going on here. I had thought it was allergies. I kept switching allergy medications. I did all sorts of different things. I was gargling with rinses. I was doing all this kind of stuff. So I went to Unity Village, rocked it, had a fantastic skills demonstration, became a licensed Unity teacher, came home, and the day I came home, by the time I got home, I was having to scream just to make any sound at all. And it felt like there were razor blades in my throat. It was really horrible. And so literally the day I landed, I got my husband called. We made an appointment for the next day with my doctor and got to my doctor. They immediately sent me on to this ENT doctor who, I don't recommend this for entertainment, shoved a microphone or a camera into my throat and said, now make these different sounds and make these noises. We need to see what's going on with your throat. And when I did, they found that I had a cyst on one of my vocal cords that had shredded my other vocal cord. So I only had one working vocal cord, as it were, and the other one looked like raw meat. So I had immediate vocal silence, went on silence for several months over the course of all of this, was told I would never sing again. Yeah, and my whole life, I'm telling you guys, I have, when I was young and things were bad at home, I would go in my room and sit cross-legged on the floor in front of the record player that my parents got me and sing at the top of my lungs until I felt better. It's been my therapy since I could talk, singing. So I was told I would never do that again, but that if I was a good girl and did everything that was supposed to do, it was likely I would be able to speak again, but never well enough to continue in my job as a teacher. So I got handed this, yay, you're a licensed Unity teacher. Go be Unity. Sorry, can't talk. So I went through a period of several months without being able to speak at all. Then it was different vocal exercises that made me feel so silly, but I did them. And went through all this different period, and finally I could make little noises, and finally I could talk normally for short periods of time. And I was so afraid of even trying to sing because I was told I never would. And I believed this doctor with 28 years of experience who told me that what I had was inoperable. There was nothing they could do about it. Our only hope was to flatten it enough so that I could speak. So I went through all of this. My husband had a field day asking me questions I couldn't answer and going and buying things that he always wanted. And so I went through this huge, who am I? What am I? If I'm never going to be able to talk again long enough to do a class, What can I possibly do? Who am I and who can I be? And who am I if I can't sing? And how do I soothe myself? This has always been my therapy, music. This afternoon, Harry Havery's going to be at the Backyard at Faded, and I will go see Dr. Havery, my music therapist, this afternoon at 3, and sing out, and because for me, it's breath, it's life, it's everything. So I go back after time, and we get to the point where they're going to shove the camera down my throat again and see what's happening, where I have gotten. Is there a possibility that it's flattened enough so that I could now speak? And the therapist said to me, finished, we did the thing, finished, and she said to me, do you have your cell phone with you? And I said, yes. And she said, does it take pictures or video? And I said, yes. And she said, I need you to get it out because I need to show you something. And so she turned the screen around that she had been watching while I was vocalizing, and she said, okay, we're going to start with this. And what I saw on the screen was a still picture of a set of healthy vocal cords. And so I thought, okay, so here's what we're shooting for. Because in Unity, we love to have goals, right? We love to shoot for things. But I have to tell you, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, Mike, I know we're going to go back and forth in this, but through the entire process of it, I went through a period of total life crisis. Oh my God, how do I get through this? What could I possibly do if I can't do this? And somewhere in the middle of it, my since I was 6-year-old walk with Unity kicked in and said, what the hell are you doing? You know better. Stop trying to fix this. It's not about fixing this. It's about surrendering to where you are. It's about realizing that you've come in this body that has certain things, but maybe it's time for you to find what else it can do. And you need to surrender fully to this experience. If you're here, it is by divine appointment. It is for a reason, doggone it. Let go. Let go. And that day, that night, I thought, what am I doing? Myrtle Fillmore. How many times have I told the story of Myrtle Fillmore going into her body, speaking to the life centers of her body, thanking them for what they have done, and being in gratitude for every step that has come before this one. It's not about where it's going. It's about being fully present in this moment and finding God in it. Finding that God is in it and that I can open fully to this and say, okay, God, I'm here for it. You tell me what it is and where we're going, because I'm here for it. I'm just going to be fully here for it. I'm not here to heal this. I'm not here to do anything. I'm here to lean in, and I am here to find the lesson and the blessing in what this is going to be for me. Because if it's this traumatic, imagine how wonderful it's going to be when I get through to the other side. And I let it go. And I started this process of laying in bed every night and not feeling sorry for me, but feeling into every time I sang what it felt like. How good that feels. How sacred and holy that feels to me. That is one of my sacred modes of expression. And instead of feeling sorry that I couldn't do it, I bathed in remembering every time I had, and it had touched me or someone else. And I can only promise you this or tell you that I'm being honest. I got to absolute surrender with where I was. I wasn't fixing anything. And I said, truly, thank you, voice. Oh my gosh, for every word I've ever said, for every song I've ever sang, for every note that has ever soothed me or someone else. Thank you so much, because not everybody gets to do that. And I felt the experience change. I felt lighter. I felt like I had no earthly clue where this was leading, but that I would know when the time came. That landed in me. I would know where this was going when it was time. So there I sit with her, turning her computer around, showing me this beautiful set of vocal cords, and I'm waiting to see what mine look like now. And she just hit play. And she said, "Are you videoing this?" And I said, yes. And she said, "That's your vocal cords." There was this tiny, tiny little spot where the cyst had been, and there was one little red vein spidering through the vocal cord that had been shredded. But otherwise, and I don't share this picture. I'll share the picture with you if you would like, but not here, because if you've never seen what vocal cords look like, they look like another part of the female anatomy. That would really not be appropriate for us to. So, because everybody would be like, what are they doing at Unity of Sebring?
There is a limit to our sharing.
Yes, yes, yeah. And she said to me, she said, "Trish, I got to tell you, I'm almost at year 29 of doing this." She said, "I've been with thousands of patients through vocal cysts and all sorts of things." And she said, "I've heard of one person," and this was before she told me they were mine. She said, "I've heard of one person who has healed from a vocal cord cyst." And she said, "And I never thought in my life I would see it. But now I can say I've seen it." So I have to say, before we move into anything else, I went through survivor's guilt. I still some days think, why me? You know, some people think, why me? I think, why me? Why am I allowed to do that again? Well, this is why I'm allowed to do that again. This is why. I've always felt so funny my entire life when people come up, "Oh, I love that," or "Oh, thank you for singing," or "Oh," I've always felt so uncomfortable taking that in because I have nothing to do with the fact that this body came with that voice. I don't have anything to do with it. I just am asked to show up to it. And that's where we all are. So here we are, our last Sunday of the year. What is tugging at you to fully release to? To say, yep, this is what I have come here with. Whether it's something that you consider a blessing or whether it's something that you say, why do I have to deal with this? Or why do I have to be that? Or why do I... Stop it. Stop it. There's only one you in this entire world. And that's not by mistake. That is by divine appointment. We are each here by divine appointment. And we are invited each step of the way to have all these little lessons thrown in and all these little loops thrown. Mike and I were talking. I was so excited to be able to bring Roxanne here and have the COO of Unity Worldwide Ministries on our stage. And I thought, how wonderful is that? Us in Little Sebring to have the COO of Unity Worldwide sing or be here. And we had a dinner planned. We had all sorts of things hinging upon the fact that she was going to be here. And Christmas morning, after we had that, oh my gosh, you guys, Christmas Eve service, I don't know how many of you were here, but Sharon and Tracy and Kim and Tina, I couldn't have thought of another human on this planet to articulate that service to everyone. And Tina did such a stellar job. And Dave on our, yes, Dave and Josh and Christopher. And I mean, and Sally, Sally, I mean, everybody, it was such a sacred, and Trish, thank you. But it was such a sacred, beautiful place to be. We had 92 people here in person. We had so much moving, sacred things that happened in here beyond description. And the next day, I just wanted to hear a couple things from it. So the next day, I thought, okay, I hate listening to myself. And the next day, I thought, all right, I'm just going to play through it, and I'm going to fast forward through my stuff, but I want to hear everybody else's, and I want to, And when I clicked on it, by noon on Christmas Day, 586 views of our service had happened on our streaming platform. 586
That's huge.
views. Yeah. So here we are in the center creating such powerful, powerful waves of unity that are to be felt worldwide. And I know it. We all know it. We're all saying we feel like we're just on the edge of the new and of what's coming, and it's amazing. But we have been gifted to be able to be here, holding the center of Florida. We didn't get to show it off to Roxanne this time, but we will. She'll come back. But yeah, Christmas morning, sitting in that glow, I got the text from Roxanne's wife. Trish, love you. We wanted to be there so badly. Roxanne has been in bed for 24 hours. She's not going anywhere. She's got a high fever. She's incredibly sick. It's not COVID. She's positive for the flu. And so she was still contagious as of yesterday. So she is not here this time. And one of my favorite things since I've been here, and dare I say, Mike and I were excited to be able to do this morning. I want Roxanne here. We're so excited. And this is our last Sunday of the year as a family to be able to come together in this way. So how cool is it that we all get to share? So I'm going to stop this incessant talking and...
No, she's not.
yeah. But I had no intention of sharing that story with you guys about my voice, but gosh, it's so appropriate. We're on the precipice of a new year. What are we going to do with what we've experienced in 2024? Where have we been brought to our knees and asked, what now? Or asked to surrender? So Mike and I decided, or Mike planted this seed, and he said, what if we look through the year's services, because we have all of our teasers and everything, and pick like our 3 favorites and see what we could do to hop off of those and talk about those. And it's hard to pick 3 favorites out of a whole year, I will tell you. But Mike did it. So we're going to hop off and have a discussion.
Well, I think that was perfect to open that, because I think that's exactly where we are.
We're really there.
We are, and I asked Trish the other day, we had breakfast, and I asked her, I was talking about the Burning Bowl service.
Oh, I was holding my breath what he was going to say we were talking about, because we talked about a lot.
You'll have to see me personally. No. And I was talking to her about the Burning Bowl and what that means, and because last year was my first Whitestone service and my first Burning Bowl service, and I so appreciated what that means. And Trish was sharing how what we're releasing is the resistance to these things in our life, and so that's what I hear you saying in your story there. And as well, I think that's where we are, and I love the fact that we get to pause this last Sunday, and sort of reflect on the year and also look forward to the new theme, which is thriving. And so really, I sort of feel that in my heart this morning as you were sharing that's where we're at. What have we been resisting, or what in 2024 maybe we have judged it as a bad thing or not a good thing, and in reality it's all part of that process, and it's all unfolding, and it's preparing us for the thriving in 2025. And I know for myself, that's where I've been, of trying to learn to integrate my divinity and my humanity, but at the same time, because of my background, I've always been this person who, I call it feast or famine. I was either real spiritual or not at all.
Right?
And so learning to integrate that and love my humanity, love the flaws, love the not so pretty moments as well, and understand that all of that comes together for a purpose. And that's a lot of what I got out of 2024 myself. And so the three, and I'll go through what I picked, and we can jump however we want to. But one of the first ones was seeds of discontent. And, and I'll just ask, should I read the teaser?
Yeah, why not?
Wouldn't it be great if we humans would strive to become our best selves and make everything around us the best it could be every day, just because we happen to be alive? Maybe we do already, but chances are it takes discomfort of some kind to move us to new places or make us change. What if we made friends with the things that push our buttons? How could that change how we change?
Yeah. Well, that's been the biggest thing. And I think when you had brought that up, because he was going to pick three and I was going to pick three, and I thought the ones that he picked were just absolutely the message of 2024. How do we get comfortable with discomfort? Because that's the name of the game for life, right? That's the name of the game. If we could move and learn and grow just 'cause, all of these things that play out in our shadow, that play out in the challenges that we have to go to, none of that would have to happen. We could all just keep growing and evolving, and life would be all wine and roses and wonderful, and we would just keep evolving. It doesn't happen that way. For some reason, we humans, and it's beautiful, but it's also kind of dysfunctional. We humans love an underdog. In order for there to be an underdog, there has to be someone hurting or oppressing them, or being a winner and seeming to hurt them in some way so that we can root for them and lift them up. What if we just rooted for people without any reason at all? Or to grow, we've got to have things happen like deaths and losing our jobs, or losing our home, or not having enough money to pay our bills, or whatever. What if we just cherished everything because we were breathing? You know, that my voice, there's no accident in my voice story being in there, because it was everything to me at the time. What I found when I went was the lady that when they first found what was wrong, she said to me, okay, well, now we know what's going on, and but I wanted to ask you, have you heard of meditation? And I said, excuse me? She said, meditation, where people become still, and I said, I teach meditation. And she said, oh, we have one of those. And she said, and I said, okay. And she said, you know that saying, we often teach best that which we need to learn? That's another one of those things. That's another one of those paradigms we bought into. If we're teaching it, we're not embracing it. That's our invitation, to embrace it and embody it and be it. But she said, the reason that you're in the shape you're in and that you have lost your voice has nothing to do with your voice. You have acid reflux. And it has gone to such an extreme degree that it cooked your vocal cords. So all the while I was saying, when this is done, when this is done, I'll fix it. I was eating fast food. I was eating right before I went to bed because I was studying and cramming. I was not paying a darn bit of attention to me. I was being mom. I was being a wife. I was showing up at my jobs with 110% and leaving me by the wayside. And so acid reflux. So I have myself to blame and to thank for the fact that I lost my voice. Right?
Yes.
So couldn't we just let it go and say, okay, I'm here now?
I think one of the things, and this has been a valuable lesson for me, because I come from the tradition where answered prayer means God doing what I wanted God to do the way I wanted God to do it, and in my past. But what I've appreciate so much about Unity is I've learned to see God in everything. And even in those moments of discontent, even in those times that I really would rather it be different, I'm in resistance maybe to it, but at the same time, understanding that all is good, all is God in everything, and so that I can trust that to be for my best. And I know we talked about whatever day we had breakfast. I don't know, my days are all together. Too. But we talked about how, that's the purpose of those moments is they are reminders, they are dash lights, if you will.
Yeah, it's the notification on your cell phone.
Yeah, to pay attention, because actually it looks one way. I mean, the whole losing your voice did not look like a good thing because it attacked the very thing that you love the most. But at the same time, in truth, it was an opportunity. It was an opportunity to face something that you needed to face and deal and heal so that you could move forward. And I love that. I love that idea that, and I know we were talking yesterday via text. I was thinking about where Jesus went into the wilderness, and Scripture says he was led by the Spirit to be tempted, to be tested. I'm like, and that's something that we sort of roll over a lot of times, but there's things that even Jesus needed to face in his life that in order for him to be able to move into what he was here to do, right? And it's the same for us. And so a lot of times those discontent moments, they are blessings. And we don't necessarily see them that way at that moment, but they are blessings because they are messengers to prepare us for healing, for betterment, for growth.
So we said this morning that we would be giving you tools. There it is in a nutshell. Every single challenge that is right now in your life, can we take an honest, long look at it, see where it came from, see if we can find the source? Is it a repeating pattern? Is it something that's happened for decades, over and over? It just keeps showing up with a new face? Ding! Notification. Don't do what I did. Don't bring yourself to the brink of never speaking again, in ignoring it and in pushing it away. Embrace it.
Well, because what is true love? True love is saying what we need, not always what we want, right? And that is what those moments are.
Absolutely. So what's two? Sorry,
okay.
we
sort of goes right along.
Two.
These sort of flow. Pulling the ripcord was the next one. Much like a parachute, our mind functions best when it's open. Lifelong learners approach new things with curiosity instead of defense and consider alternative views, points, rather than shutting others down. How do we stay open to opening? Which goes right in
exactly.
line with
I think it's, we've kind of already even covered that, and that is a huge, you want to have more in 2024 and thrive in 2025. Stop feeling so attacked by everything. It's all here for a reason if we allow it to be, right? So if we can open to that. What's the third one?
And just remember the words of the prophet, Dr. Phil. How's that working for you?
yeah. How's that working for you?
Third one is individuation. This was from our
Adventure in Faith.
Yeah, our Quest of Wholeness series. Individuation, the pathway to wholeness. I almost read Mike does meditation. Sorry, that was my notes. On this week, it's surely going to get deep in here as we find that the source and solution to all conflict lies within ourselves, and that we are all the same in our differentness. This week we will transcend opposites and find oneness.
Yeah. And boy, isn't that a lifetime journey?
Yes, absolutely.
Lifetime journey.
And I was thinking about, if I had your voice, I would go into, Unlimited.
Yes.
From the Wicked musical.
From Wicked, we're all about Wicked right now. If you haven't seen it,
because you would definitely request a change if I started doing that, probably. But there is that unlimited potential, and we are all very unique. Yeah. And yet the same. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I love paradox. One of the things I've fallen in love with Unity is paradox. Understanding that two things that seem like opposites can be true at the same time. And that is such a powerful understanding as we go. Yeah. So let's maybe bring it to this. In 2024, our theme, remind me of our theme again?
Our theme was opening to more in
Opening to
2024, and each month we did more of something. Like February was love, August was learning, but each was opening to something more.
And then in 2025.
And in 2025, it's alive to thrive in 2025. And so if we are alive, which you all look that way to me, we happen to be here for this opportunity. I got it over here. We are here for this opportunity. What can we do to thrive? We're headed there. Our Unity of Sebring has got so much cool stuff and amazing things to be able to help our environment. I got our environmental study. I shared with you guys that I talked about renaturing our pond, and what it led to was we are going to end up with an environmental easement for our property with a nature trail that will be marked, a guided walk that people will be able to go through, because we have rare and endangered species of plants and animals here on our campus, and we're going to lean in and open to it. And we just got the environmental study, which is like 186 pages. And so we are going to go through and decipher it all. But I can tell you right now, they have nothing to do with Unity of Sebring, and there is a group of people all over the state of Florida that is chomping at the bit to come here to be a part of what we are going to create together so that our wildlife in Highlands County can thrive here at Unity. Let's do it, right? And we've discussed this as leadership and everything. All I thought was it would be cool to renature the pond. So can we leave room for that? Can you leave room in your life as we stand on the precipice? We're about to go into a brand new year. And, we're very different. We love to be so unique in Unity, and we're all individuals, and we're so different. And there are times when it is so awesome to lean into the mass consciousness. Right now, the world is poised for a new year. People are cleaning out closets, they're donating things to people, they're in that spirit of giving, they're generous, they're loving, lean in, use it, harness it in your own life. Lean in, look into what we've talked about today. Where are we dividing our own self from our oneness? Lean into it, find it, and then Tuesday evening, 5:30, be here, invite friends. This is not a religious service on Tuesday evening, and it's not going to even resemble a regular Sunday service. Bring friends, anybody who wants to encapsulate 2024 and step into 2025, come for this meditative to-practice event of our Burning Bowl release and embrace ceremony, 5:30 Tuesday. And then Sunday, please come again, and again bring friends, because this coming Sunday will be our White Stone service, the first Sunday of the year where we will embrace the new, have potluck, enjoy our beautiful family before we thrive in 2025. So
I just want to say I can't think of a better community of people that I'm so privileged to be able to be a part of. I was thinking earlier before service started that in March it'll be a year that I'll be back in ministry, and that was only birthed because of Unity and because of Trish, and I so appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I love each and every one of you, and I look forward to thriving with you in 2025.
I can't wait. I'm so sorry I didn't let Mike talk very much today. I was a little too excited, as you could tell.
So, well, I was distracted that your paper's on this fire.
Right, yeah. Thank you all so much for another year of wonder here at Unity of Sebring. I can't wait to see where we go. And here comes Tina. So it is, and thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.